Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Charlie Cobra Reviews. Hope you're having yourself a wonderful day, and this is going to be our review for Cruella. So first off, I just want to say that I thought this movie was really good. It wasn't even a movie that I wanted to see, and I really thought it was unnecessary for it to even be made. I'm not sure if Maleficent was the first Disney live action to de-vilify a villain, but it feels like it's a trend that isn't going away anytime soon. I think one of the worst parts for me is kind of the beginning of the movie and how it starts off with her being born and the whole part of her being this problem child as a kid. I didn't really dig it that much, and it didn't do much for me to like her more or see her more empathetic as a character. The way it seemed to me. She gets in trouble at school, and then they have to move, and her mom stops to get help at this amazing party. At the party, Estella leaves the car when her mother said not to, and she's chased by these aggressive Dalmatian dogs that ultimately knock her mother over a cliff to her death. This was both shocking and funny and completely terrible. And I couldn't believe that they went this route or whatever. But somebody had said, maybe in the past, Dalmatians were the reason for her, not liking them or whatever, or not liking dogs. So that's kind of funny that that turned out to be true. Anyways, Estella runs away to London, where her mother and her were going to go, and she meets these two street thieves, Jasper and Horace. I like how these are the two characters from the cartoon that eventually become her henchmen. Also, Horace has this really awesome dog named Wink that has an eye patch, and he becomes one of the most beloved characters of the film. So it skips 10 years and shows that they've been surviving by stealing and utilizing Estella's fashion skills to come up with disguises so that they can get in and out of places. Jasper gets her a job at the Liberty department store for her birthday, where she struggles daily working at the entry level as a cleaner. She drunkenly remakes one of the window displays in an act of defiance to her boss, who constantly dismissed her and wouldn't give her the time of day. To the surprise of everyone, she gets the attention of the Baroness, an authoritarian haute couture designer who offers her a job as a designer. The Baroness is a cruel, mean, and strict boss, but Estella eventually gains her confidence with her creative skill and talents. One day, Estella sees the Baroness wearing the necklace she dropped at the party, the one that her mother Catherine gave her. After asking her about it, the Baroness replies that an employee had previously stolen it. And this is where the movie kind of had me at a crossroads because for some reason, I kind of really don't like heist films. I think it has to do with the whole Fast and the Furious franchise and how they stopped being about racing and cars and turned into heist movies. But, anyways, the heist was actually one of the more memorable scenes of the movie and had some excellent scenes in it as well. I love how Horace utilizes Wink, the one eyed dog, and dresses him up as a giant rat when he goes incognito as an exterminator. Estella uses herself as a diversion by crashing the party, donning her natural black and white hair, and establishing herself as the Baroness's new rival, Cruella. And things don't go as planned, and eventually the Baroness calls on her Dalmatian attack dogs using a dog whistle, and Estella has a flashback to the night her mother was killed and suddenly realizes that the Baroness was the woman who killed her mother by doing the same thing. She didn't cause her mother's death, it was the Baroness. Estella makes her plans for her revenge and begins taunting the Baroness by upstaging her in flamboyant outfits at her gatherings with the help of Artie, a vintage clothing store owner, and she even garners the attention of an old childhood friend, Anita, who now works as a gossip columnist for a newspaper company. The Baroness fires her lawyer Roger for failing to stop Cruella, whose increasingly arrogant behavior has become a source of anger to her, and also Jasper and Horace, who Estella begins to mistreat for no reason. This is something that didn't make sense to me. I understand she wanted to take everything away from the Baroness, like her business and her role as a leader in fashion, but it didn't make sense that after finding out that the Baroness killed her mother, that she would want to continue emulating her and her behavior and be mean to her friends, which she considered family. Estella has Jasper and Horace steal the Baroness's Dalmatians because one swallowed her mother's necklace, and she's desperate to get it back at all costs. It's a little funny how the dogs give the boys so much trouble until Horace turns on the TV to watch soccer and they suddenly sit and behave. They also grow on everyone and lose their aggressiveness too. There's really a diabolical plan that Cruella puts into motion against the Baroness that I thought was rather brilliant. After the Baroness desperately needs a win with her spring collection fashion show, she confiscates a design from Estella and demands she make it for her. Then, after it's done, the Baroness claims that she herself has done it again. Estella has the boys fake a break in, and for security, the dresses are put in the Baroness's vault, where the dress she made, which in actuality was made of moth eggs or cocoons, has led to moths being hatched and destroying all the other dresses. Everyone runs outside to find Cruella has staged her own fashion show, complete with a concert, across the street at Regent's Park. The Baroness becomes aware that Estella and Cruella are the same person after visiting and threatening Anita, the newspaper columnist, but her suspicions are confirmed when, after the fashion show, she has Jasper and Horace followed to their home. Estella comes home to find them tied up and the Baroness in wait with her henchmen. After ordering them to take Jasper and Horace to jail, she leaves Estella or Cruella to die in a fire she sets. The Baroness' valet, John, who has served her for many years, rescues Estella and reveals to her the truth we've been waiting the whole movie for. Now, I, for one, should have seen this coming, but I guess I had my blinders on the whole time and could only focus on one thing, which was why did they never mention Estella's father, and who was he? I kept thinking that her father was the Baroness's husband, and that maybe he had an affair with Estella's mother, Catherine, making Estella the illegitimate child of her husband and heir to her fortune. Also because, where was the Baroness's husband? They hadn't shown him the whole movie. Did he even exist? John reveals to Estella, with the help of the necklace, which he also recovered from the burning building, that it held a key to a box containing her birth records. Estella is actually the daughter of the Baroness, who John gave to Catherine for safekeep because the Baroness ordered him to kill her. To me, this kind of made perfect sense for why she acted so much like the Baroness to begin with, and why they had so much in common. The Baroness did not want a child and only to focus on her career, and did this while her husband was away. When he returned, he was told the child died in birth and it destroyed him, where he died not long after. At first, Estella's mad at Catherine for lying to her, but then she accepts it, and she also decides to complete her revenge against the Baroness and become Cruella for good. To complete her final scheme, she sends packages to the invitees of the Baroness charity gala, and has everyone come dressed as Cruella in homage to her since she died in a fire. She also breaks out Jasper and Horace from jail with the help of Wink and a garbage truck that she uses and outruns the cops in, which was pretty unbelievable. Now at the charity gala, she sneaks in as Cruella and changes back into her Estella outfit and has the Baroness meet her outside on the very balcony where her mother died by blowing on the dog whistle to make her dogs take her there. The Baroness is forced to the balcony because her dogs keep pulling her there, and when she sees Estella, she unleashes her dogs in hopes that they will attack her, but Estella commands for them to sit. After revealing to the Baroness that she's her abandoned daughter, the Baroness arrogantly takes credit for everything that Estella is, her talent and her creativity. She asks to hug her and even pretends to accept Cruella before pushing her over the cliff, unaware that all the guests were watching after being told to go outside. Now this was another thing pretty weird for me, because I'm sure you would hear a bunch of people outside in a crowd, especially when they're at a party and have been drinking. I mean, when has a crowd ever been quiet? Estella survives by using a parachute and changes into her Cruella outfit and returns in time to watch the Baroness being arrested and taken into custody. She acquires the Baroness' home, Hellman Hall, and her business and money, having secretly transferred her fortune to herself using Estella's name and adopting the last name DeVille. In the post-credit scene, she gifts 2 puppy Dalmatian dogs, one Pongo and one Perdita, to Roger and Anita, linking the movie to the 101 Dalmatian franchise and what might be a setup for a sequel movie as well. Now, my final thoughts on the film are that the acting was good, great performances by Emma Stone and Emma Thompson. I really liked Horace and the little dog Wink, and the parts with Wink dressed up as a rat were ridiculously funny. I think they missed out on a possible romance between Estella and Jasper, because to me it felt like there was something more there. Now, I thought the soundtrack was great, if maybe used a little too much, but I don't hate on stuff like that. But in retrospect, it does kind of remind me of how Suicide Squad tried to do the same thing with making up for poor parts of the movie with the soundtrack. Now, the costume design and attire of all the characters were superb and really stood out, especially the many outfits Cruella wore. The plot was a little thin and certain things were really stretched out, but at the same time, some things were pretty clever and decently written. The dialogue wasn't terrible, and the cinematics of how the whole movie looked were pretty great. Even the CGI on the Dalmatian dogs were pretty top notch. For a movie that didn't need to be made and tries to manipulate you emotionally to empathize with a future dog hating animal killer who plans to kill puppies and wear them as clothes, this was a pretty good movie. Like I said before, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I can't say that it's worth the $30 price tag, but it's not a terrible film and worth it for a family outing or watching with enough friends to make it reasonable. But if you want to see it for free and not in a rush to wait, it comes out Friday, August 27th on Disney Plus if you have it. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the spoiler review. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day and checking out this review. Remember to like the video and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date on our latest videos, and hit that notification button if you don't want to miss any. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and if you like watching video games, check out our live streams on Twitch where we're streaming every day, and our other channel here on YouTube where we post the streams at a later time. I'm Charlie Cobra, and have a great day.